Hello, so my presentation wouldn't be in Java. I will talk about unusual OAuth usage, but before I start, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, actually three. First one is, how many of you uses your own implementation for authentication, authorization users? Oh, all right. And the second question is, who uses OAuth in your application? Oh, almost everyone. And the last question is, which one of you do it totally on client side? I mean, no gems, no device, no anything backend related. Oh, okay. Interesting. So I'd like to present you OAuth.io. It's a great website that provides some OAuth on client side. As it's written here, it provides simple API, fast process, highly secure. It's a great way to use OAuth in JavaScript when you don't want to use some backend solutions. And why bother when you cannot? Because we have a lot of amazing gems that can do a lot of work for us. Because not everyone uses Rails as a full stack framework. We use single page applications outside the Rails. So that may be a reason. Sometimes we'd like to have light web services and keep the whole application on the client side. And maybe we want to be independent of backend processing. So these are the reasons. I'm not saying here that these are advantages and this is the only right way, but it's another solution how we can do that. So what are the steps to this authentication on client side? Firstly, we need to register on OAuth.io. Then we have to create new application, new project there. We have to create an application providers developer center, for example, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on. We have to register our application there. Then we need add key providers on OAuth.io. When we register some application, for example, on Twitter, we got secret key, public key, and we need to provide this on OAuth.io. Next, we have to set up our JavaScript application, and then we can get data and use it as we wish. And that's all. And now is time for a demo, if I have time. I will show you how it's work. Okay, this is a strange thing. It's kind of weird how it's displayed, but okay. Maybe first I show how it works. So for example, when I click on Twitter, then I get some pop-up to authorize. I accept it. And then I get my data on JavaScript. I can do the same with, for example, Google+. There's no pop-up for accepting before I accepted it before. I got the whole data on JavaScript. LinkedIn works the same way. Okay, and I have my data without server, without anything on the backend. All things happening in JavaScript. Maybe I will show you some code here. Okay, so firstly we have some in HTML we have just these providers and nice styling. We have data attribute like providers. Then we got these providers on click, and we pass this to our server-side part in JavaScript. Then we are switching on these providers, and depending on this provider, we getting some data. And when we got this data, we are building users, depend on what we got from server, and that's all. We injecting this data in HTML.
Thank you. No pressure. Take your time. Yay. Ready? Ready or not? Here we go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dariusz from Monterrey. I have a question for you. How do you deal with the code review? Do you make code review on daily basis? Please raise hands. Do you use any specific tools? What kind of tools? Shout. Okay. In Monterrey, we create a tool that we called GitHub Code Review. In the shortcut is GHCR. The architecture, this is a Chrome extension and Rails API. It's open source and self-hosted solution. It's seamlessly integrated into the GitHub layouts. And on GitHub hook, it records the commit data on the API endpoint. It's the settings page. We can see here the number of pending commits, the number of discussed commits. You can see my repositories. Now, this is how it looks like on the GitHub on the certain project. We select the repository, we select the commit, and we have the three buttons like the next pending, discuss, accept. On the left, we see the total amount of pending commits and discuss commits. Up for discussion, it's the button that we mark the commits that we are not sure it's properly done. It's not. We only just mark commits that are good or need some improvements. And when the commits need some improvements, we mark it as up for discussion. We're leaving the comments using the GitHub comments, and the person is going to respond and trying to convince the reviewer and all other the teammates that his solution is the best one. Now it's how it looks. That commit is accepted. In our company, we have the TV with the counter of the pending and commit up for discussion, so everybody sees how many commits are going to must be reviewed and how many commits is going to be discussed. Using our tool, you are able to see which commits of yours have a doubts from reviewers. You can browse in the free time and make a code review every day. Okay, thank you very much.
Did he say the magic word? Too
Java.
late, too late. No. Yeah. Ready. Steady.
Okay.
Go.
Hello, everyone. So I have good news. We're gonna play a game. The game is pretty simple, but I'm gonna show you a tutorial just in case. So, thing is, I ask questions. You give me yes or no answers. Okay? Let's give it a try. First thing, is it nice to be nice?
No.
Yes. Is it nice to not be nice?
Yes.
No, you're making it difficult. You only have 3 lives, okay? So, the real thing, level 1. I think that we all can agree that we're kind of nerds here, and we have different, like, similar experiences from high school and stuff where people would laugh at us because we like Star Trek and stuff. So, is it nice to pick on nerds? No! No, I thought it would go a little more smooth, sorry. Level 2. So it's Saturday night, you're working on this feature, you run out of mate, so you go to your corner store, you rummage in a fridge looking for the bottle, and you overhear some football fans talking about this one time in high school when one of them had a friend who really did something bad to this one nerd for liking Star Trek, and this nerd got it so bad that he decided to quit school. So, is it nice? No, yes, thank you. And one last question. So, you just joined school, you're the new kid in town, and somebody decides to invite you to a party. They say, yeah, come over, but they don't give you the address. Is it nice? Guys, please. Thank you. Somebody agrees with me. Okay, so if you answered all of those questions right, and I'm pretty sure some people did, so I'm very sorry, but you cheated. And the thing is that the people that cheated, the thing is that they had an advantage, and that advantage is similarity. So when we are similar to someone, it's much easier for us to establish an empathetic connection, to see their perspective on how and see their experiences. So the more different the person is from us, the harder it is for us to see that. So we've all been here. The thing is that we've all done it. We've all had it done to us. Like, that's how, unfortunately, it's kind of embedded in the world we live in, but it doesn't mean it's good. Because science says that diversity drives innovation. So the more diverse the society that we live in is, the more open we are, then the healthier and more prospering society or community we live in. That's kind of basic science. So that means, following that means if there is no diversity, there is stagnation. So sooner or later, we will all get stuck in using Java. So follow the simple rules. Ensure that you are open to people, that you are nice to people, that when you're not sure if somebody, not sure if you understand why somebody feels bad, try to think, what if I was what if they are that nerd that didn't get the address to the party? So, or what if they were that nerd that got laughed at because of the glasses, or pushed out of a bus? I'm not going to give any more horrible examples, but anyway, you get the picture. So anyway, I think if you follow the simple rules, if we all follow the simple rules of openness, inviting diversity, and being nice, then we will all win in this game of life. Thank you.
So that's 3 points. You complied to all 3 rules. Ready? Go.
Yes, okay. Hello. As you probably remember from the talk, the last one, from the real talks. There are issues with assets in Rails, and we have solution for this. So let's talk about assets management in Rails. What is the state of the art? In Ruby world, unfortunately, we are still using vendor assets directory or manually created asset gems. In Java script world, we also use some committed, downloaded content from the internet, put it into repository, or using Bower or NPM with some browserify tools. So, what's the problem? Those assets gems like jQuery Rails are made by people manually, and this is embarrassing. And they are always behind the original releases and the versioning of the libraries, or I mean, like the jQuery version versus the jQuery Rails gem version is complete mess. And there are a lot of bunch like Ruby helpers inside. So if only we could use Bower components in Ruby, that would be awesome. So we just thought about it and we did it with as the Montreal and a help from Shelly Cloud that is hosting the railsassets.org website. All you need to do is put a new source into a gem file, then add a few gems that are actually a Bower components with just Rails assets prefix, then bundle install, and in your manifest files with the JS, application JS, and application CSS just require, boom, it works. And here's how this website looks like. We have a component list. You can add new components, browse versions, browse files, what's inside. And is it any good? Yes, it is. We have no more vendor assets. The versioning is proper. Dependency resolution is tricky, but it works. And yeah, it just works. We are using it in many production applications. And here I will give the microphone to Adam, who will tell you a little bit more about the future.
So far so good, but Rails Asset has its own downsides. Most importantly, Rails Asset is a centralized solution. That means if our site goes down, you are unable to deploy your website. One solution is to host Rails Assets, but that's not the perfect solution. The other flaw of Rails Assets, we are only able to build the tag releases. For example, you can't use the master version of the component on GitHub. That's because we're building components on the server side. Also mixing assets definitions with gem definitions in the gem file is like to be discussed, and also we're using long gem names like Rails Asset jQuery. Our competitor, let's say, Bower Rails is using Bower file that is similar to gem file but uses asset command to include Rails assets. That's very good, but you can't, for example, just include the the names of the assets directly in your application CSS and JS, and there are some other flaws. And I'm happy to announce that we decided 2 weeks ago to join our forces and create solution that have the best things from Rails Asset and Bower Rails. So, and the point of this presentation is, please help us to make it happen. We need developers to give us feedback and give us hands to make it happen. If you're interested to volunteer, please email me or send me a tweet or talk to me on the after party. I will be very thankful for any support. Yeah, and thank you. This is all.
So they said Java script, so I'm not sure if that counts. Who thinks we should like let it count? Come on. Okay, no mercy. Sorry, guys. No mercy for nerds.
It's not nice.
What?
It isn't nice.
Yeah, that's true. So? You ready already? Yes. Okay, and go.
Hi, I'm Mateusz, and I will show you something about zero configuration. Did someone ever used Bonjour or zero configuration or Avachi before? Woohoo! And probably there is a lot of layers here because you have built in that these features in your MacBooks to discover, for example, your printer or Apple TV. And the first urgent thing that I have to show is that so I said no to Java in this presentation. And quick about what is ZeroConf. It uses multicast DNS to discover other hosts and service discovery to search to know what services are on the host. And there are two implementations of that. First is Bonjour, the first implementation because it was created in Apple, and the second is Avachi. This is open source, open implementation, and they created because they didn't like the license of Bonjour. What we can do with zero configuration? We can discover hosts, broadcast services, SSH, VNC, FTP, and Pulse Audio, for example, and a lot else. And we have instant messaging, and I wrote there iChat, but now there is Messenger built in MacBook. The idea that I want to sell you on that conference, it was that we should have turned on that serial configuration and turn it on that communicator, because when we come to open Wi-Fi, then we can find other peoples and we can just chat. We don't need any contacts with that that people, for example, Facebook or Twitter. We can just the local resources. And there is a problem with that here, because every person here has the separate VLAN. So we have anybody have a separate VLAN here. So there is no community here on the LAN. And I go to admins, and they say no about this idea. And I have a project in Computer Science Association about using Raspberry Pi to broadcast screencast. For example, now I'm using it, and it's based on AirPlay. So I can just simply go somewhere else, and I don't need any cables or other things. And now I'm supporting the connections AirPlay mirroring, the native implementation from MacBooks, the new MacBooks. And for those who has old hardware, I prepared script in Ruby. It's called Aircast. I'm using it now, so you see how it's working. And there is also a Miracast. This is from Android, so people with phones also can connect to Raspberry Pi. And the status of this project, it's in very early stage, but it works smoothly. And I don't have a lot of hardware. For example, I want to support also Apple TV, but I don't have one, so I can do anything with that. Do you have any questions? I don't know, because I already told enough of Java on the start of my presentation, so you can follow me, just like these cats. And if you want, if you want to start using...
So, what do you say? Did he comply to rule number 1 and did finish within 5 minutes? Okay, okay. He did mention Java.
Again.
Ready?
Does it work? It doesn't. Awesome. All right, let's screw it.
Ready?
Okay, ready.
Go.
So you might have found that in my presentation on the day 1 and yesterday's lightning talk, I'm overusing this word, and that's because that's what I feel when I'm here, basically. I feel awesome, and that's why I'm repeating this all the time. So for when we are talking about things that are awesome, like my hangover just gave me a break, so that's awesome. Wroclove.rb, that's the, like, for me personally, this is very awesome thing because I had this anxiety about talking at conferences, and this is the place where I bit my way through, and I can talk to you right now, and it's not that bad. So yeah, without any helpers. And there's a question I have to ask you because I really want to get better at this. So was there anything wrong with my talk? And don't respond right now because that might go wrong. You don't ask out these questions. So if there was anything wrong with my talk, I love feedback. So please do share your feedback with me. And at my work, because I'm a chief technology officer at NetGuru, so I of course don't do any technical things. I really, the only things I do is, the only thing I do like for most of my day is giving feedback and receiving feedback and doing something with it. So I'm very good at this, and I can share with you how you should give a presenter a feedback. So in general, if you want to give a feedback, you have to do your research if you feel that the feedback is needed. So you know what you are talking about. That's very important. Then, not necessary, but it's good to get a second opinion because you might just got something wrong. And then discuss this thing you want to give the feedback about with the person involved and make sure it was delivered. That's the last step. So in this particular case, if you do want to give feedback to my presentation, do a research. In example, approach me and ask what I meant. That's a very simple thing to do. Not everybody is doing it, so please do. And get a second opinion. That's very easy when you are sitting in this huge hall and there are a lot of people. You can just ask the person next to you. Discuss this with me, and I will listen because I love feedback, so please do discuss this with me. And make sure I got it. Just ask if I got it. Yeah, so that's it. Just remember, do that. Don't, if I make a mistake or say something offensive or anything goes wrong, just don't tweet this right away. Please, please think about the feedback first. Yeah, because if you tweet it right away, you will get like totally reversed effect. Firstly, I won't be able to sort of digest what you did because you just embarrassed me in public. That's one thing. And the other is that instead of giving me feedback, you are giving it to the whole conference. And it's okay to tweet it, but just after you did those steps and you are sure what we are talking about. That's very important. Yeah, and thank you. And Ping Pong just got its 12K visits, so that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And what did he not say? It is difficult, isn't it? Ready? Okay, let's get it out of the way. What date is it? Java. Java, very good. Well, obviously it's April 16th. So yeah, obviously it's April 16th, but it's also the year 3914, because in Java, day starts from 1, month starts from 0, and year starts from 1900. So that's why we use Ruby here, sorry. And this, like, we're basically too simple to comprehend Java's whatever that was that Java did. So let's say we have those 2 dates, today and upcoming Eurocamp, which just declared when it's going to happen, and you should all be there. And we can do operation on days like this. We can say that it's 138 days until Eurocamp starts. We can actually create a range of days in Ruby, and this will work. You can use those ranges in things like case statements. So you can check whether we are before Wroclaw, between Wroclaw and Eurocamp, or after Eurocamp, and we're between at the moment. And we can check whether all the days between now and Eurocamp are going to be Fridays, but unfortunately not. But we can count how many of them are going to be Fridays, and there are going to be 20 Fridays. And we can actually select all the Fridays from today until Eurocamp, and we will get a nice array of Fridays. So if you ever had a situation where you wanted to have you had a collection and you want to have like element after element in pairs, but have like every element to be the first element of the pair, and then like you can see like you can have the midnight of one day until the midnight of the next day, and then again the midnight of the next day to the midnight of the next again. So another fancy method, each cons, that you might want to use. Partition, do you know enumerable partition? It's a wonderful method. You pass it a block that returns a Boolean, and you can check whether a given date is a Saturday or Sunday, and you can have a collection of weekends and collection of weekdays. And weekends will be weekends, weekdays will be the rest. Next, slides before. If you want to have all the weeks from today until Eurocamp, you can run slides before, and you will get an enumerable of weeks. And you can see that the weeks are from the first day of the week till the end. Today is Sunday, so the first week is just for today. The next week starts tomorrow and ends on the next Sunday. Next, let's say we have a free predicate that says whether a given day is free because it's Saturday or Sunday. This is what we love about Ruby, that we can do it just like that, and it will call the Saturday or Sunday methods on the date object in question. Let's say we have all kinds of fun activities that we like to do. Let's say we have a method that, or lambda in this case, that actually takes a predicate, and if the predicate is true, it will sample the, plenty of time, sample one of the fun activities, otherwise we're going to have to work. And this is the final method that I want to show you from enumerable. It's enumerable chunk. It will go through this whole range, it will run whatever you pass to it, and then it will collect subsequent elements from this range, in this case, and combine them as long as this method returns the same value. So today is a free day, so we have a free activity, random free activity. Then we have 5 working days. Then we have 2 free days, 5 working days, and so on and so forth. Please, please, please do what Florian says you should. Read enumerable.rb. It's my favorite part of Ruby. Thank you. Thank you. Go.
Okay. So I have one warning for you. I don't speak English good enough, and I will be continuing in Java Enterprise Edition. So I'm Piotr Karbownik. I work at the software house, and I'm a Rails developer. And I'll tell you something about real-time messaging with Ruby on Rails. So carry on. Action Control Live. Has anybody used this? It's a feature of Rails 4. Good. Did you use this on production? Yes. Oh, you are brave, Jon Snow. Only for a moment. But anyway, you are brave, Jon Snow, because this is complete crap. Maybe a more convenient solution. It's Pusher. It gives you an API, so you can push messages to the client through WebSockets. But it will cost you extra money, and yeah, but for big projects, it's not a solution. So maybe something else. So we have Fei. Fei is a solution for WebSockets, and it has an implementation for Node.js and Ruby. It gives you the ability to run something, you call it a Fei server in the backend, and you have a JavaScript library for the front end to receive those messages you're sending from the server, and you can also distribute those messages from the front end to the server. So it's quite nice. It's quite easy. We are currently in our company developing a chat application, and in the first moment we was using Fei. It was quite nice to develop. I think in small solutions it can do quite well. But if you build a chat and you are thinking of a big application, you need more power. And something like Fei is not enough. So what to do? Use Jabber. Jabber is widely used in chat applications over the internet. Currently, Facebook is using it. Gtalk from Google is also based on Jabber. I say based because they have their own forks implementation of this. So this solution is written in Erlang. So this is a good thing for high traffic. And it's using the XMPP protocol. So it's a very known protocol, widely documented, and there isn't a problem with seeking features. But you have to get used to the documentation. So okay, we have a Jabber server, and we need something to connect with it. And we have Strobe.js. This is a library which you can use on the front end. It will give you the ability to connect with the Jabber server and use the XMPP protocol, send messages there and back again. You can create a pub/sub messaging system. You can also create a simple chat with it. The library is, like for me, not quite good developed, but it's useful enough. On the Rails end, we have a gem. It's XMPP4R. It's also not quite good documented, but yeah, we are Ruby developers, so we can understand the code. Yeah. And in the end, you end up with something like this. So this diagram illustrates the simplified structure of application using a Jabber server for real-time messaging. And in the end, no words about Java. Thank you all.
That was close. Perfectly timed, yeah. Yeah, you.
Sorry.
So it's late in the evening. I'm a bit sorry when my speaking skills are a bit rusty towards the end of the whole thing. So I'm going to speak about Rust. Rust, just a short primer, Rust is a systems programming language that is designed by Mozilla and openly developed. It is imperative with functional parts. It is very low level if you want it to. It has no null pointers. It is typed and safe. It is also strictly better than Java and Clojure. Java, it's obviously, Clojure, I'll tell you why. It has braces as Richie indented. It's a curly brace language. The main part about Rust is it works on structs. It always works on raw data structures that are, if you ever work with C, looking very alike. On top of that, you build implementations. For example, this is an implementation for that tbsol struct. Don't question the name, that's just from a project that I was working on. For example, this is a function that creates a new tbcell out of 3 primitive parameters. And one of the interesting parts, if you start working with those structs, is if you want to define operations on them, it works kind of the Python way. So you always pass in self as the first parameter. And the second thing you find out is that if you write that code, that will not compile. Because one of the interesting concepts in Rust is that you always have to tell it whether a variable is mutable or not. And it's strictly enforced that non-mutable variables cannot be passed on and modified later on at compile time. So the interesting part about mutability being a first-class concept is it allows you to actually switch. So it's not like in Haskell where nothing is mutable. You can actually decide whether at this point something is a mutable thing or not. That's very good for concurrent code, and unsurprisingly, Rust ships with good primitives for doing concurrent programming. But it still allows for predictable low-level operations. So if you want to edit a bit field and stuff like this, that's all possible. So you might have seen some of those squiggly things and stuff. Rust has a set of different pointers that mean different things. It has a concept of so-called ownership. So every piece of data is owned by a certain agent. So for example, if I have this tilde operator in a structure, this structure is owning everything that is behind that pointer and is the only agent in a system that is allowed to do that. The N is called borrowing, so you can give this data away for someone else to edit. The at is a code word for this was written when Rust still had garbage collection. Those were garbage collected pointers, so if you ever see Rust code that uses them, don't. And the star is the C dereferencing operator. Another interesting part are traits. So you can implement traits over those structs, and it a bit works like Ruby modules. So you can say like this can be turned into a string using that implementation. I skipped the algorithm, but yeah. The nice thing about traits is that they can be implemented where they are used, which is very nice for DCI. So you can have modules where you say, okay, at this point I want to have this ability to turn this structure into a string. At other parts, it might work differently. One of the very nice things is those structs are actually have the same layout as C structs. So interfacing with C libraries is very, very easy. You just pass them into an FFI call and you're done with it. And the other thing is Rust can actually be used runtimeless and using the C ABI. And then it will also work the other way around. So you can build shared libraries in Rust that just work like any C shared library that you want to. It has a built-in test module that can do mutation testing. So if I want to test whether someone is a mutant, I can just do it. It has the nicest parts of Haskell, like pattern matching with destructuring. And the catch is it's still in construction. Rust isn't 1.0 yet, and they're pretty consciously so. So you should always compile master. You should always expect that changes make it break. And it's currently for mind-blowing only, but it's interesting to learn because when do you ever have the chance to see such a language develop so much in the open? And the community is very good, and there's a few links for people that want to.
Thank you.
So hi, my name is Nick. Actually, I'm front-end developer. I work in with Ruby guys, and actually, I love coffee from Java. So, and today I want to share with you my pain. So, actually, my talk is Java is evil or structure your code. Some Ruby on Rails developers do really care about the beauty of Ruby code, but totally do not care about structuring JS code. And it's really a problem. So for example, if you need to make a kind of accordion, okay, it can be easy. So just make some selection and apply accordion method, and actually it works. It just free line and it's quickly. Then we want to add some parameters, and code becomes much more, a little bit bigger, but it's still recognizable and it's pretty understandable, I think. And then we need to make a JAX request on a button click. So it's pretty easy as well. So just make a selection, make a click, some handler with the JAX, URL, success method, error methods, and it works, it's fast. And it's okay, we can feel proud about that code because it's really fast. And then we need to add some HTML structure. So just trying to make some success method and error method, just made some HTML there. But in the end, it can something like this. So we can feel different emotion looking at this code. Actually, we can feel scared, pain. So we can be angry. So actually, this code is really hard to support because it's really hard to figure out what this code is doing. Actually, hard to debug this code and hard to cover this code with some tests. And a lot of different stuff that actually, if you open this code through a couple of weeks, and we totally don't remember what this code is doing, and so on. So my main point is structure your JS code. Actually, there are several possibilities how to do this. The simplest, I think, it's usual singletons. You can just actually prototypes, CoffeeScript classes, and also we can use a kind of MVC framework like AngularJS or Ember. That frameworks provides their own structure, so it's much more easier. So for example, singleton, we have just simple object, for example, cat. We have just properties, methods, and it's really a level of abstractions. So it's much more recognizable, and we can figure out what it can work. We can use prototypes if you need several cats. So we can create a cat class, make several properties, make methods in prototypes, and we can use it. So it's pretty simple and pretty. Actually, we can use CoffeeScript. This code can be rewrite like this. So it can be more compact and so on. And MVC frameworks like AngularJS. Actually, it's provide a way to structure your code. You can controllers, models. You can have templates. You have a great documentation, so coworkers can just read the documentation, understand what the code doing. It allows to test that code, and no need to do any DOM manipulation. It's much more easy and simplest, I think. So thank you. That was about.
Thank you.
So since everybody's so interested in Java, let's learn how to move from Rails to Java Spring in 5 minutes. I'm Eduardo Sampaio. You can follow me on Twitter there. I don't tweet a lot, but anyway. Just kidding. This is not a Java talk and not yet another Rails bashing talk. It's just a very quick talk. It's not really a talk. 25 days ago, the Ruby community suffered a huge loss. The author of Rake, Ruby Gems, stuff that everybody here uses every day, unfortunately passed away. I don't know how many people know this. I just want to honor the guy, remember him, so.
Hi, this will be a very short promotion of the meetup group we are trying to organize in Bydgoszcz. So if you are from Bydgoszcz area, Toruń, or anywhere near, or maybe do you know someone, please let them know and please come. We invite everyone who would like to join us to try to organize this, to have some presentations or to share some experience. So yeah, please come to us and please share this information because this is just the start of the announcements about this meetup. So we are really trying to build some audience. Thanks.
Okay. Hi. So yeah, fire DevOps. So you can forget about Chef. And starting with Surely Cloud, it's very easy, as you see. It's just a git push. And I'm using it in a lot of apps from like 1 year and a half. And I really recommend it to you guys. So yeah, about what to bother if there is Heroku, yes? So I will say you why. So yeah, it's cheaper and faster. Yeah, but there is also Cloudfile, yeah? And it's a great place to keep the configuration. I hope it's everything good to see for you. So you can configure almost everything, yeah? That you are using Tin or a Puma, that you are using Sidekick or other gems. There's also some database setup. Yeah, and yeah, it's great for full stack developers. So yeah, so if you are using like any of these databases, you don't need any additional service. It's built in. If you are using some delayed jobs systems, it's also possible there. I have also lately tested how fast it is, and I was able to run 70 requests per second on it. So on what? Well, it was an API which stores some data. So 70 requests on 2 machines actually. Yeah, so you have backups by default. You don't have to forget to start doing it. And yeah, as I said, you have databases, even Elasticsearch, which is in Java. There, and also Redis, yeah. And the very nice thing is also varnish caching, which is also there by one line. So it's life changer for thousands of requests for static content. Yeah, emails. Do you want more? Really Java. So you can also run the JRuby or even a Ruby Enterprise Edition if you use it. Now you bet you yes. Yeah, and it's everything in Europe, so you don't have to wait for the request to ping the servers in US. Yeah, and you get the awesome support because you can get it right in a way. Yeah, you don't have to wait for the ping pong. Yeah, and the place where DevOps really shines is console, and that's the same for Shelly. So that's why you can tunnel the databases to debug some problems. You have access to logs in live, yes. You remember the -f for tail, yes? It's the same. And also file storage, yeah, some instant DB consoles, and the Shelly console itself. And one more thing is system bash. It's the way you can I think that not everyone knows that it's possible with Shelly to access the console itself also. So then you are in charge. But if you broke something, then that's your fault. And thanks. And if I have some time, I can show you some real example. Yeah, so I have an application, it's simple, so I can see some info, how it's working, how it's usage, and statistics. Yeah, and bunch of comments, if it's small. So, yeah. And, yeah, the Shelly console is there. Yep. I hope the Wi-Fi is working, yes. Yeah. Yep. Boom. So now you have everything. Of course, it's a joke. Yep. So I think that's it. If you want to know more about it, I will be in Beer Halle, so let's talk to me, and you will get some more details of real usages of it. Thanks.
Thanks. So I have 2 questions. Do you have free stickers?
No, I'm not providing stickers, and the guys, I think they are not here anymore.
And my second question is, how fast can you calculate the Fibonacci sequence on that?
It depends on your Java implementation.
Ah, okay.
Hi everybody, I'm Oscar. As you can see it here, it will not be about the Java or even about the programming. It will be about you guys. Then please stand up, everybody. Really, please stand up. I don't have a lot of time. Yeah, I'm a martial art expert. I teach people how to fight, and I want you to show you a 4 easy exercise to keep your wrists in good condition. Then let's start. I will not use microphone because I need to both hands to show something for you. Okay, everybody, let's warm up a little bit.
Oh, they're gonna grow.
No. Okay, and this one, and this. Okay. Hey, you really need it, I see. Okay, let's grab hand. Yeah, in this point, with these 2 fingers. Keep your elbow close to you and low, and go up. Yeah. If you feel a little bit pain, it's okay. Yeah.
More pain is
okay.
Okay.
Change the hand. Okay. Relax. Second one. One hand in this direction, second in this direction. Grab. Keep your elbow below. And go as much as you can. Yeah. Yeah, feel a little bit pain, it's okay, pain is okay. Second one, the same. Okay. Elbow, below, yeah, good. Do not cheat. Okay, relax. Third one, the mirror one. Okay, second hand, from other side, grab. Yeah, first finger here, the last one here. Yeah, let's try. Close to you. And go down. Feel it, it's good.
Feel the pain.
Yeah. Let's stretch a little bit. The second one.
Not implemented error.
Yeah. Yeah, the same. Mirror, grab, go close, go down. Yeah, and the last one, in this direction, outside of you, grab, and move. The circles. Yeah, do the circles. Yeah, and the second one, grab and do the circles. Yeah. Okay, relax and do it every day, and your life will be much better because you will not have problems with your wrist when you work. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.